Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back to the channel. You know me, Steve with I Live Plants, and I am here today to talk to you about pond. Okay, so first of all, shout out to Janeé Simone for convincing me to actually use pond as a substrate. I'm excited to get started with it. This is going to be my first time using it. So maybe a few months back, Janeé convinced me to use leca as a substrate for some of my plants. And she's good for using pond like a hybrid, so somewhat of a semi hydroponic solution that she puts some of her anthuriums and alocasias in. I'm gonna try it today for the first time. So funny enough, Janae actually picked up this Anthurium King of Spade for me at PlantCon this year since I was unable to make it. So I think what better way to sort of like, number one, thank her, first of all, because she's so smart, knowledgeable about plants. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, you have to check it out. She is amazing when it comes to plants, decorating, and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna put a link to her channel in the description below. Please, please, please check her out, support her. We're actually going to be collaborating in a couple of months together, along with Richie from Growfos and doing a plant podcast. So I'm so excited about that. But here's the deal. She told me about pine. All right. And I'm going to try it out for the very first time. So what I want to do is sort of give you like a brief introduction to pine because it literally was introduced to me a few months ago and I decided to go with it. So let's get into it. Let's talk about pine, what it is, what the benefits are, if it's right for you, and let's see if it works. So let's talk about this. What is this stuff, right? Because, when we think of a substrate to put plants in, we tend to think of soil. A couple of weeks ago, I actually just repotted my snake plants and rocks, like mineral rocks. I think you can see one here. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I live plants. This thing is heavy, but it's doing pretty good, right? This is one of the vases here. And, so period, there are so many different ways to sort of make your plants look more aesthetically pleasing, especially if you're using glass jars or clear pots. The dirt, the soil, is black and messy and it gets all over the place sometimes. Not with these rocks, hopefully not with this pumice pond. Which brings me to this. What are some of the ingredients in pond? So yes, speaking of pumice is one of the ingredients in this substrate. Okay, so when you think of pumice, first thing that comes to my mind is a pumice stone, right? You go get your feet done or whatever, and they're scrubbing the dead skin with a pumice stone typically. Well, here it's a little bit different. Of course, pumice stone is a rock, but it can absorb water. Okay, and it holds on and retains the water. So this is the thing, right? If you happen to be an overwaterer or even an underwaterer, pumice could possibly be your best friend when it comes to not killing off your plants because you tend to do either one of those two because pumice actually retains water. You don't have to water as often, which is actually a good thing for overwaterers because you tend to psych yourself up and have, you don't want to kill the plant. So you tend to overwater it because you're just trying to be too cautious. All right. Same thing with underwaterers. If you happen to go on vacation, this might be your best bet. Okay. So I'm actually going to try it. If it works, I'm going to be using it a lot more. You also have lava rocks, and lava rocks great for airflow. I think of lava rocks, I think of volcanoes, right? Same concept, same. You get it from the same place. Really, really good with airflow. So typically with soil, sometimes the soil gets too packed, air can't flow through the roots. Plants are human beings. Human beings. Plants are living beings. I think they're human beings. They all got names here, but plants are living beings. They need air. They need oxygen, and sometimes soil can be too compact to let that oxygen, that air flow through to the roots. Lava rock is good for that. It actually helps promote airflow. And then the last thing is zeolites. And zeolites help purify water. I mean, you know me, I got a water distilling machine. Okay. So anything that helped me, with purifying water, I'm all down for. Now, I am using Lechuza Pond. Now, this thing is, how do you say? A hot commodity. All right. So you get it off of Amazon when they have it in stock. The only thing about soil and pond, in my opinion, is pond costs a lot more. Okay, so if you're looking at, benefits, yeah, soil has a cost benefit to pond, but in terms of everything else, and we'll get a little bit into the benefits in a second, Pond to me seems like the winner on paper. But again, this thing is a hot commodity. If you want, I think this bag costs about maybe 30 or 40 bucks. Kind of expensive for soil. But the thing is, one of the benefits, it can be reused. Pond is reusable. Unlike soil, you typically have to chuck after a certain amount of time, but and you definitely can't use it over again. This one you can. So let's get into more benefits. Another benefit is the whole idea with pests, right? Like certain times of year, my gnats get a little bit. I have it way under control compared to when I first started collecting plants, but gnats are still an issue for me. Okay, and typically what happens is the gnats love the idea of procreating in soil. They use, some of the wood chips and some of the other things that are found in soil, as a source of either food or just a perfect place to nestle and lay eggs. Not with pond. They don't like it. Okay, so they're not going to, sort of burrow into your pond. Okay, so they're gonna search for something else to do. My gnat infestation got so bad that they were actually procreating and laying eggs in the windowsill because it was very moist. It was awful. It was horrible. Okay, so it was just really bad. Pond, you're not going to have that problem. Fungus, you're not going to have a problem with fungus growing in pond. You might have somewhat of an issue with mold growing in soil. Which, me, we talked about this before. I have sinuses. It's an issue for me. Mold is not good for me. All right, it flares up. Okay, just regular mold flaring up. All right, so you won't have any issue with mold or fungus growing in your pond substrate. I'm trying to think, and the last one that I would say is airflow. And I think I mentioned this when I was talking about the lava rocks earlier. Yeah, you want oxygen to be able to flow to your roots. Okay, you want the root structure, the root system to be nice and strong, nice and healthy. It helps prevent rot, and it helps prevent, it helps, you know, clear out excess water. The water is actually being absorbed by the rock and not typically, the roots are laying in it. So that's another good thing. Hey, so I wanted to show you all this gift that I received from Janeé, and this is an Aglaonema Prida Sumatra. It's grown in a combination of leca and pond. As you can see, it looks sort of like a trifle or a parfait. Like I said, Janeé is really good with her decorative designs and everything. It looks aesthetically pleasing in the jar, right? But we're going to talk about this later, right? This is in a jar with no drainage holes, of course, and the water just sits in it, okay? Roots are perfectly healthy. You can see the roots down here, all right? They look great. And this is somewhat of a water reservoir. So if you think self-watering plants, things of that nature, this is a perfect example of how the roots just take in the amount of water that they actually need. That's going to be the idea for this King of Spades. I'm going to plant it the exact same way using this glass jar here. And so far so good. This was a cut-in that Janeé was able to give me, and it's holding up. Look at this. This looks amazing. And hopefully my King of Spades, who, by the way, his name is Viserys. If you know, you know. Viserys caused a lot of issues. He was misunderstood. I'm not even going to go into my whole House of the Dragons rant. I'm actually getting caught up. and I'm kind of pissed off right now at the series because of where it's heading. But Viserys is going to go in here. All right. So I'm going to pot this up real quick. Let's see what it looks like. It's not going to look as pretty as Janeé's. I'm not going to do the trifold effect that she had with the Leca. I'm not going to use Leca. I'm just going to use straight Pon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. My first Pon plant, King of Spades, Viserys, right here, and Pon. I like it. I'll keep you updated. I promise you that. Do me a favor. If you like what you see, you guys, hopefully you did, give me a thumbs up. If you comment, if there was anything that you saw in this process that I could have done differently, put it in the comments. If you like what you see, if this looks good and you want to try it, put it in the comments. Let me know some of your experiences with Pon. And again, if you haven't already subscribed, come on, 50% of y'all are not even subscribed to this stuff, okay? Please subscribe. And again, I thank you all for watching. You know how I always leave you. Make sure that you're loving yourself and take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health, just like Drew Carey says. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.